Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Jimmy the Bag. This is the first Loshak in the Bag show for the brand new week, starting Monday. What is it? April 9th. April 9th. Jimmy the Bag. Things are going okay. I know you're getting more and more excited as the Triple Crown is coming up. I know you're getting more and more excited as the NHL playoffs are coming up. You may be getting a little bit more excited because the NBA playoffs are coming up. MLB, I'm actually up now in our show, which is very nice. I started off the year a little bit behind the eight ball because I doubled and tripled up against a few stupid things, but then I've been slowly gaining back, and now I'm nicely positive. Looking forward to continuing that going forward. We also nailed the Joanna fight with the over. Did you bet that one? Did you bet the over?
No, I just bet Joanna.
You bet Joanna?
Oh, sorry, I just bet Rose.
Okay.
Just bet Rose. It was great, man.
Yes.
Great. I as soon as the fight started, I was like, man, you guys nailed the over.
Yes.
But I just bet Rose. It was just a rec bet. I just wanted to have something fun. But
why didn't you bet the over? You don't actually trust us?
No, I don't trust you guys.
Motherfucker!
No,
I knew it. Hey,
not for a fucking second.
Your loss. Now, who knows whose loss it is? Maybe it's your gain.
No, of course I trust you guys. I almost didn't make a bet. I went down to the bet box and I was like, you know what? I could just go 50 and 50, put 50 on Rose and then 50 on the over, and I decided just to put 100 on Rose.
Okay, so you wouldn't have actually made any more money then?
No, it would have just been the same.
Okay, well, that's very good. That's very, very nice. Okay, yeah, it was kind of close, though, wasn't it?
Not really.
Really?
She was in control the whole fight.
Right.
She wasn't allowing Joanna to get to hurt her ever.
Okay.
I thought she was just. It was exactly the way you broke it down, though. It was very defensive, very cautious.
Yes. I don't, as you know, Jimmy the Bag, I don't watch live UFC. Usually, once in a while I do, but I don't watch live UFC for a few reasons. The main reason, though, is because it does impact my handicapping. I like to break down what happened in a fight when I have time to review it, and also when I know what the outcome was. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to get caught up in the emotion and the ups and downs while you're watching the fight and have that cloud your analysis of what actually happened. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yeah, you develop biases.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting. We've talked about watching these games that we have action on as well, and you know, there's hockey, especially NHL. I'm the worst at because there's teams I love and teams I hate, and, and it gets in the way of everything.
Yes. Paulo Marquez with a great comment to start off the show. He says, Loshak and the Bag, gods in earth. How are you? Interesting. Interesting that he thinks we live underground as opposed. No, Paulo Marquez, Jimmy and I live above ground like normal people. We do not live inside the earth, but the fact that you call us gods, really appreciate it. Paulo Marquez, thank you so much. As always, I live for all these. This is what I live for in a world full of fucking scumbags. I live for these fucking comments here. A positive comment is all I live for. It's the only thing that brightens my mood every day and every night. Right, Jim?
Yeah, man. It's just a treat to be with everybody every day here. Stephen Alla says, hey, Jimmy and Pete, long time no see. My dad passed away. Haven't gambled in 2 months out of respect, but ready to get back on the grind. And Stephen Alla, we are happy and thankful to have you back, man. And we are family. And our heart goes out to you and your family, but now you're back with another family.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome back, Stephen Alla. Welcome back, Stephen Alla. Miss J says it's cold as shit in Milwaukee, but the Milwaukee's playing away. And anyway, they have a home, they have a dome, so it doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter, but I'd be uncomfortable if I was watching that Brew Crew team. They had so much hope coming into the season, and they look a little. They don't look so good. Mr. Stubby says Justified for the Derby. Justify is the horse's name. Holy shit, is this a horse? My God!
Hey, what happened to Do D'Oro? What about Bo Darrow?
Bolt D'Oro.
Yeah.
Lost by about 2 lengths.
Oh, okay.
It was just a 2-horse race. But no question, Justify saw something in the middle of the infield. This is a green horse, and clearly Justify is the most valuable horse on planet Earth. My God, I understand now why they call it Big Red. He's just a giant. I haven't seen a horse that looks like this since American Pharoah. My goodness. So yes, we have the Kentucky Derby. Mendelssohn might have something to say about that coming over from Europe. This will be the biggest Kentucky Derby in easily 10 years, 15 years, because of the whole us against them, America versus Europe. It's going to be great.
Hugh Jerection says, do they butcher your name on purpose, Aspire to Elate? I don't know who he's talking about, but no, we don't butcher anything on purpose. We just read as well as we can, and whatever comes out, comes out. But definitely Hugh Jerection, we are always going to pronounce correctly, right, Jim?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I guess let's get into it. Once again, we will discuss the NHL play. I love the NHL play. The NHL playoffs is the closest I come to actually enjoying sports just as a fan. Fun as hell, right, Jim?
I don't know. I get it's very intense. I think the regular season is more fun. This stuff, it gets very, very serious. And I mean, last year if the Ottawa had scored the overtime goal in Game 7, I would not be sitting here.
Really?
Yeah, I would not be. I would not have been in Costa Rica.
You would have jumped off a bridge? What do you mean?
No, but I would have been down 10 grand, and
shit!
And I would just, my life would have just been different.
Okay, well that's why you don't want to go all in on any bet, Jimmy the Bag. 2%. 2%, like milk, right? Like skim milk, 2%.
Yeah, no,
like
that was a
different.
different. That was a bit of a different handicapper then. But no, I think just this stuff is very serious. This hockey's very serious. The hits are harder. You saw Crosby take it, across the face from Niskanen in the playoffs last year. There's that kind of edge that doesn't happen really in the regular season, and it's very intense.
Okay, Hans Oh My Cock says, Loshak, can you say my name? Sure, Hans Oh My Cock. Jim, actually, that's a good analogy. Think of your sports betting bet percentages as like a percentage in milk, the fat percentage in milk, right? 1%, 2%. 4% if you're feeling crazy and whacked out, 5% maybe, but you don't want to be drinking 50% fat milk, 100% fat milk, right, Jim?
No, I hear you.
Right.
That milk sounds gross.
So when you're thinking about how to bet size appropriately, think about the fat percentage in milk. 4%, 2%, 1%, right, Jim?
I hear you. Al Mack will be live at all Leaf home games as he works at the ACC. He'll be live tweeting. A lot of people believe this Leaf squad has what it takes to make a run. Yeah. Unfortunately, they have to play probably the best team in the Eastern Conference in the first round.
Carlos Porod says whole milk is best. Yeah, but even whole milk is like 10%. What is it, 5%?
Carlos has the cheesiest balls in the game, man. We know that about Carlos, man. Of course he likes whole milk.
That's the point. Whole milk is like betting full Kelly, which is a little bit risky, but even full Kelly, you're betting 5%, maybe 6%. Whole milk, I'm going to do some research and find out what percent fat whole milk is, because that is the maximum that you should be betting. You know what I'm saying, Jim? Even whole milk is like 6% fat or something like that. But okay. So let's move on. Let's see. Tom Marino says, I think the only time you can justify betting more than a couple percent of your bankroll on futures wagers if you think you'll be able to hedge and win without the future bet outright. Yes. All right. Tom Marino is getting a little bit advanced here. Yes. Anything that you're expecting to hedge is a different situation. You could bet more than what Kelly would dictate. But in general, and there is a Kelly calculator at SBR odds at the tools section at SBR Forum. You can find it. The tools sec. Go to SBR Picks. You'll see tools all the way on the right. I know this because I use it myself all the time. You can go to the tools section, and there is actually a Kelly calculator that can tell you exactly how much you should be betting based on your edge, and you can also use it for reverse to see if you're betting a certain amount to tell you what you're saying that your edge is based on your bet size. And if you notice, if you overbet your edges, a lot of times, if your bet size is too big, you'll be noticing that you're predicting a win percentage that even you will admit is way too big. So use the Kelly calculator tool at Sportsbook Review.
Al Max says, Pete, I go 6.25 per bet mostly. Is that too much, you think?
6.25% per bet. I mean, it depends on your edge. If you're betting if you're betting props and like player props and stuff like that, bets where the market is expecting that the edges can be big, which is why they have much lower limits. Then no, that can be justified. If you're betting once in a while on an edge in like an NFL game, I think that there can be games with that big of an edge. But if you have a 6.25% edge overall on a major sport in a big sample size, I mean, that's possible, but that's all-star level handicapping. That's like what Bob Haralabos did in the NBA when he was at his peak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or like Jimmy the Bag did in NHL.
Yes, as Jimmy the Bag did in NHL. Yes, again, look, a 6.25% bet could be justified, but it's all-star level.
Yeah, Big Dick Donnie says, I like to bathe in whole milk.
All right, let's get into it. All right, let's jump into MLB, right? We do have some MLB games in the afternoon today. Let me just quickly check. I'm going to do a save here. There are a few bets that I made on the overnight lines, not on the afternoon games, though. Nova against Chatwood is interesting. I would be thinking maybe about a second half under here. I'm thinking about some bets on the later games, but let's start with just the two afternoon games, White Sox and the Cubs. Do you have anything on either of those, Jim?
I do. I think this is a nice spot for Chris Archer. He's had 2 pressure-filled games, and now it's freezing cold. And I know he's not going to be comfortable with the freezing cold, but it's just a White Sox team that has not been hitting. And the Rays have lost 8 straight. I mean, there's just no pressure on him whatsoever. Archer's not looked good in his first 2 starts. 6.55 ERA, 1.45 WHIP through the first 11 innings. Was 10-12 with a career worst 4.07 ERA, career worst, and 1.26 WHIP, career worst. So we can expect him to improve. And it's freezing. Rays are hitting just 201 with a 567 OPS. They've hit 4 home runs through 9 games. But I think that this is a great spot for him. Miguel Gonzalez did turn it on at one point last season, but did not look good in his first start, did not look good in spring training. So, yeah, I can understand why people want to take the under and stuff like that, but I'm going to take the Rays on the -1.5 line.
Okay, you're going to take the Rays on the -1.5 line. Let me find this one. The Rays on the -1.5 line would be, let's see, plus 120 at Pinnacle and a few other places. You want that one, Jim?
I do, and Greg Schneider says both these games may be canceled. They're doing everything they can to play these games. They've already pushed the Cubs time back.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see. We shall see. All right. Let me just quickly get to some comments here. Let me just see if there's any interesting comments that are coming in. Okay. Let me see. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Funny comment. Oh. All right, now chat's back in. All right, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this one. What do you have to say about Pittsburgh and the Cubs? Pittsburgh, of course, doing very well. The Cubs doing a little bit worse than expected. Chatwood kind of impressive. Nova, in general, my read on him is not that impressive, except in spots. This might be I'm expecting maybe a 6 innings, 3-run kind of type start from him. I might be looking to fade him a little bit more in the future. I was thinking about Pittsburgh on the second half here. Jim, what's your take on this one, if any?
Well, I mean, I need to see Chatwood pitch at home. It's snowy. Everything is pointing to unders for all these games.
Yeah.
Wind is I have the wind right here. Let's see what it is.
It's blowing in. Slight wind in.
Blowing in, slight wind in, and there's a much bigger wind in for the White Sox game. Nova's coming off a tough start. Twins got to him, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 6.10 ERA, 1.45 WHIP through 10 in the third, 13 spring innings. He did not look good either. The Cubs' offense being slowed around into form, but did a bit in that Milwaukee series, picked up 20 runs. Rizzo's still out with a back injury. There's no way he goes today with the cold weather. Chatwood looked good in his Cubs debut, but walked 6. I'm going to have to see more of him. I have him in the baseball pool. I expect him to pitch well, but this Pirates team's pressing all the right buttons. I like the Cubs here, but I don't know if I'm going to take them.
Interesting. Steven Mraz says Cubs huge, but Nino says Cubs have no Rizzo. Luchase Fox says Pirates have looked good so far.
Cubs is just postponed.
Oh, the Cubs is postponed?
I guess it's just being postponed.
Are you sure?
Well, that's what they're all saying in the chat.
Someone fucking ban the Cubs game now? I was going to give Pittsburgh on the second half. Oh, yep, Nate Dogg says Cubs game postponed. And Nasty Nate says this is the best show on the planet, in all caps. Nasty Nate, right there, pal. Thank you so much. I live for comments like that with all the fucking scumbags in the world. This is just the fucking is what keeps me going every day, Jim. I can't believe this is fucking scumbags of all races, creeds, colors, ages, genders, everything. Just scumbags everywhere you look, Jim.
You had a tough weekend?
No, I didn't have a tough week. Well, I've had a tough couple of years, Jim. You know what I'm talking about. I've had a couple years. Weekend means nothing, Jim. I don't get frustrated by weekends. I get fucked up by years. All right, Jim. Let's see. All right, so I guess
is the White Sox game going to go and the Cubs game get
it.
pushed? That's crazy. That makes no sense that the White Sox game would go and the Cubs game wouldn't.
All right. I guess that's it.
That's it for the afternoon game.
All right, screw that. No pick on the Cubs game. And then the White Sox game, yeah, I'm going to pass on that one. There are some bets that I made on the evening games, though. Let me see. Yeah, I guess we can talk about Liriano and Kluber. Kluber just a machine right now. And if you notice, remember last show, I don't remember exactly when it was, but we were debating back and forth, and I said Kluber is like one of these guys who might be just an elite pitcher who's worth the play on every single game. And someone else suggested that Scherzer was also in that category. And I said that I wouldn't put him in that category. In his last start, he did actually fuck up a little bit.
Scherzer.
Yes.
Well, yes, and
who is also pitching tonight, which we're not talking about that game.
No, against Tehran. But Nostra Toda said fade Scherzer anytime he's in a hitter's park. So yeah, I think you guys are both on the right track. And Scherzer can get hot and can become a top pitcher in the league.
But as of right now, I would definitely be higher on Kluber than on Scherzer in general. This is a massive line here, but as regular viewers of the show from last year would know, there were times, more often successfully than not, that I would take the first 5 innings team total under at 1.5 with Kluber starting and would cash more often than not. And that's what I'm thinking about doing right now. Although, wow, at Heritage right now, it's actually 1 plus 120. I'll see if Pinnacle has a 1.5, but Pinnacle might also be hanging a 1, which is not automatically a no play for me either, Jimmy the Bag. I might go on that one too. Let me see what. Pinnacle doesn't have the first 5 inning team. Oh no, I think they do. Let me just. Yeah, they do. Where is it? Where the hell is it? Hold on one second. And yes, at Pinnacle, it's also 1 plus 19, which is not out of the question, Jim. But I'm probably going to pass on that one. Very interesting. What do you have to say about Detroit, Cleveland, Jim?
Well, Liriano looks like the offseason was great for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming in again with a no-pressure situation, and he looked great.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow the Indians have opened the season 4-5, hitting 159 with a 526 OPS. That just goes to show what a ball club they are. They're just incredibly good defensively, great pitching. Last year they hit lefties hard at 270, 794, but it's going to be colder in Cleveland than anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, the game time temperature in Indians 3-1 win over KC was 32 degrees. That's the coldest game time temperature in the history of Progressive Field since 1994, and today it's going to be 2 degrees warmer at the start. So, I mean, you can't expect any offense. I could understand with your play there. Kluber looked good in his first 2 starts. 4 earned runs over 15 innings, 14 Ks, 3 walks. His team only provided him with 3 runs of offense. Liriano looked excellent. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run in the win over the Royals. Royals are going to be bad this year offensively, bad against lefties. In one start against the Indians last year, and I remember it well, so the Jays, they torched them. 7 earned runs in just 2 innings. But this is the coldest offense in the league. I can't count on offense from the Indians.
The first 5 innings team total is interesting. There is a 4 minus 130. Kevy K says Cleveland bats are due for positive regression. Nate Dogg 420 likes Detroit plus 1.5. Tuate Latte says Detroit hits Kluber at a 335 clip. Some people saying that Detroit might hit Kluber a little better than others. Here we go. Tom Reno says, I think Liriano is in a letdown spot off his great first start. Liriano hasn't been able to be consistent since his great year at Pittsburgh years ago. I don't want to lay the big price, though. Interesting. JK says those Cleveland bats are cold. Spokesman says Kluber goes 7+, and they'll win today 5-2. The Indians will win 5-2, which means that the total of 7 will be a push, and maybe the Indians even at -5, -280 have some value. The first 5 innings total is 4 minus 130 at Bet Online, which is a little bit tempting unless you think that Liriano is going to get lit up. You going to make a play on this one, Jim?
I agree it's a little tempting, but I'm concerned. Liriano's not going to have a stellar season. Just had his arms had a nice break, and he looked good. No doubt about it. It's true. Kobe breaking down Nostra, or saying versus Martinez is hitting 333. Miguel's hitting 400 versus Kluber. Kluber's career earned run average against Detroit's 397. So this has been a team that has been able to touch him. I don't know exactly. I don't feel comfortable really making any move other than that under sounds appealing. But even that, I'm not gonna take it here.
Yeah. All right. I guess first 5 innings under 4 at -130 at Bet Online would be a lean. But I'm going to pass on this one. The lines are getting up pretty tight. Soon, eventually, because of artificial intelligence, all these lines will be tight as hell. It'll be like the fucking lottery here. All right, let's get into the rest of the MLB card. There are a few bets that I did make on the overnight line. Jimmy the Bag, one bet I did make. I did take Philly against Cincinnati. I like this guy Lively. Reed has big potential, but he also has control issues. Not sure this is the best spot for him on the road against Philly, so I did take Philly at a very modest line. What else did I bet? I did take a shot with St. Louis. Milwaukee has been ice cold, and Chassin, don't really trust him on the road, although he'll probably be a little bit better here. And this guy Mikolas, I think I'll probably be okay. I like Philly more than St. Louis here, but I also bet St. Louis. And I also took a shot with the under in Seattle, KC, and I also took a shot with the under in Arizona, San Francisco. Those are the only bets I made. I may give all 4 of those as official picks here. I'll start out with Philly. I will give Philly here. I'll take Philly -1. Do you have anything to say about that game, Jimmy the Bag?
No, I'm of course I'm going to continue the great Coors Field fade. But the only other game I've capped so far is the Brewers Cardinals, the late 7 games or 8 games, excuse me, I'll have for the late show. I just did the whole NBA card. So at this point, I think your Phillies play is nice. Yeah. I'm going to take more time with it. I also am definitely, I think I'm going to make a move on the Cardinals here. The Chassin Mikolas matchup. Yelich hit the 10-day DL. We know Knable's on the DL. Chassin's looked terrible in his 2 starts this season, and he had a strong spring. I'm not sure what Mikolas is going to give us moving forward. What is your expectation? $15.5 million 2-year contract. I mean, they believe him after that 3-year stint in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the jury is still out with him. He's got 4 nice pitchers, right? He's got 4 nice pitches. The question is, how much will he be able to make improvements with that combo to reliably get major league hitters out? I think that the jury is still out on him, but I'm willing to give him a tiny benefit of doubt as of right now, especially in the year. Obviously, as the year goes on and he gets more worn down, things get very, very ugly very, very quickly for him. But as of right now, I'm willing to give him a bit of a benefit of a doubt.
I'm going to take a shot with the Cardinals. I'll take him on the -1.5 line. I think Chassin is uncomfortable. We know he's uncomfortable on the road. I think this is a good spot to fade him, and I'll jump on the Cardinals -1.5.
Okay, let me see. All right, hold on one second. All right, so
also,
first of all,
we have a new viewer from Jersey. Says, love your show. Let's get that cash.
Thank you so much. All right, so I'm
goes by the name of Harry Scrotum, though.
So. All right, that's okay. We still accept you. Everyone, all comers are accepted in this show, Jim. Let's see. I'm going to take Philly -1. Kobe Valentine did say that most of the money's on Philly, but the line has moved in the other direction. In baseball, I can understand why it's not necessarily. It's a lot more reflective of the line than it is of who's like. Just because a team might have been a bad bet at -140 doesn't mean that they're not a good bet or slightly good bet at -122, which is where Philly is right now. The line move towards Cincinnati concerns me a bit. It does, but I'm willing to take a shot with Philly here. I like Lively a bit. Reed has, again, promise and potential, but he has control issues, and if he that's why I'm taking the -1 line here, because if Reed has a good start, Cincinnati might well win, but if Reed starts to have control issues, Philly should definitely win by more than 1. So I'm going to take Philly -1 here. The money line is right now -122 at the Greek, and the run line +165 at UWager. Again, it's just a matter of the odds here, and I'm going to take a shot with Philly -1. And you want St. Louis on the 1.5 run line, Jim?
I do.
All right, let's see. That'll be a +153 at Pinnacle. Jim's going to take St. Louis run line +153. I'm taking Philly -1 there, and let's just get some other comments, and then we'll go get some other handicappings. Let's see. Comments coming in here. Elio Rodriguez really likes the Mets. Of course, that is a Syndergaard against Urena, so obviously that has the Mets written, all over it. I'm sure that the public money is going to be huge on the Mets. I'm going to get into that one more deeply this afternoon, and I'll look into.
Same here. I'm uncomfortable with Syndergaard from a betting standpoint right now. I don't think we're going to get value with him, and he doesn't look like he did in the early part of last season. So I'm certainly, and DJ Big Boss saying Mets went 12 innings last night. My first instinct is to not. If I was going to do anything at this point, I would think there'd be value on the other side with Urena.
Kobe Valentine says Mets might be sitting some players today, and Urena also has some high volatility. I would say probably 60% of the time he's going to be awful, but I'd say a third of the time he's actually going to have a quality start, a serviceable start. And if he does, you don't want to be betting against that with a minus 200 road favorite. So
I think he's going to find himself. I think it's going to be better than that. I think he's going to find himself this season and turn into a good pitcher.
Let's get to some comments. Kobe Valentine says, not a fan of Cindy this year. He doesn't look the same like when he first got drafted by my Jays. Let me see. Tom Reno says Boston never hits pitchers they haven't seen before. Not surprised Urena had success against them. Let's see. Not applicable says I like Arizona. Jay Scum says, how about the over in the Philly game? No, I'd be leaning under in that Philly game, actually, especially now that it moved up to a 9.5. Kobe says Mets might be sitting some players today. Let's see. Tom Reno says, I don't trust the Cardinals' bats, but Chacin has been horrible. Fowler was horrible last year at the beginning of the year, and he's started the year badly. Let's see. Chase Fox says, gotta like Rockies at home. Other comments here coming in. Let me see. Other comments here. Let me see. Hit money likes the under in the Miami Mets game. Okay, we'll see.
Nostratorda says Urena could be plus 400, and I wouldn't take him never.
Wow.
Ever.
Holy shit. Okay. Wow. All right. So far, Jim's given St. Louis run line plus 153, Tampa Bay run line plus 120.
But I do have, before we move on, I definitely need to lock in the great Coors Field fade, which has been very successul. Now, obviously, I'm going to make this bet blindly as the season goes on. I will cap this game for all you guys, for your plays on the afternoon show. But right now, I'm just going to take it blindly every morning, and I like this spot very much. I like getting plus 300. I know the Rockies smash lefties, but I could get more than plus 300, I bet.
Let me see. San Diego. Right now, we're seeing plus 267 at Pinnacle, Jim.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
And those Bet 365 lines you quoted over the weekend seemed a little high to me, but those are real lines at Bet 365?
Of course they're real lines.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe Bet 365 has really shitty alternative run lines, which would not surprise me. You want to check Bet 365 right now?
I do, because I already sent it in at plus 300.
Really? Yeah. Pinnacle has plus 267. So obviously the square books are not as hip to where these alternative run lines should be as Pinnacle is, and those square books will catch up, if not this year, in very, very short order. Let me see where it is. Let me see. Let me just check it.
I got it right here. Plus 300 alternative run line.
San Diego Padres minus 1.5 plus 300. Wow. Okay. Pinnacle has plus 267. All right. We'll give you the Bet 365 line, Jim. San Diego run line plus 300. Yeah, these Bet 365 alternative run lines are way off where Pinnacle is having them. We do use Bet 365 in this show, so we will give you that one, Jim. All right, let's see what else do we have here. I was also leading under in Seattle KC Gonzalez against Junis. I bet that one at 8. Let me see if that one is available. Let me just quickly. Oh shit, no, now it's down to 7.5. Damn it.
Wow.
And then Bet365 isn't here on SBR. You have Bet365 there?
Yeah.
Check to see if Bet365 has an 8 there on the Seattle KC game. Gonzalez, again, we've talked about him. I think in spots he's going to be a good bet to have decent starts going forward. Junis, we've talked about.
Yeah, they're hanging an 8.
There you go. Bet365. We should probably stop using Bet365 lines, even though.
Why?
Well, because they're off market lines. What, 8 minus 130?
Because I've always thought Bet365 had the worst lines.
Well, depending on which way you're betting.
I guess so.
Yeah,
but I've disliked the lines. I've always got better on the show all year.
Yeah. I mean, if you, if you're, if at square books, the rule of thumb, unless they're intentionally trying to sucker you in. All right, we can talk about that later, but it is at 130, right, Jim?
It is, yeah.
All right, I'm going to take Seattle KC under 8 minus 130. I bet this one on the overnight line. I'm going to have to start tweeting out my plays because these lines are definitely moving against me. I bet it at 8. It's now down 7.5 most places except Bet 365, which has 8 minus 130. And I'll take that one, Seattle KC under 8 minus 130. Arizona, San Francisco. Come check out the late show because I'm almost definitely going to have a play on this game. I'm generally high on Godley. I'm generally not high on Holland. I might have a play on the San Francisco team total unders. I did bet the under in this one on the opening line at 8.5. And I'm liking Godley a lot more than Holland here, so I might have a play on Arizona. Not exactly sure what I want to give officially, but I did bet the under, and I might have a play on Arizona in this one as well. And we'll handicap the rest of the evening games in tonight's show, right, Jim?
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely, though, going to jump on that under 8 minus 130 with you.
Okay, you want that one?
I don't think that will be available when we come back.
All right, yeah. Seattle KC under 8 minus 130. Jim is taking that one as well. Let me get some other comments, and let me scan my MLB notes to make sure there aren't any other plays that I want to lock in here, and then we will move on to NBA. Let me see. Other comments here. Let me see. Maxwell Smart says Arizona will take care of you, Jimmy, and he says there are many reasons I can't write in chat. Wow, proprietary information from Maxwell Smart. Okay, there you go. Let me see. What else do we have here? Jay Scum says SF Arizona is down to 7.5. Yes, I bet that one on the under 8, and I'm just gonna have to start tweeting out my overnight plays because these lines are definitely, clearly, obviously moving against me. Let's see. What else do we have here? Let me see. I'm just checking for some comments to see if there's anything we want to identify here. Let's see.
A lot of people talking about the San Francisco Giant bats, and they do look very professional. There are going to be some really good at bats coming in. I think Holland is very susceptible, but I'm just not sure how to play it. At this point, I'll have to break down the game a little more.
Okay. All right. Let me just quickly scan the other MLB games to make sure there's nothing that I'm forgetting here. Cincinnati, Philly. Yes, I got that one. Let me see. I'm thinking about taking the Cincinnati team total under as well, but I'll wait for that one until the evening show. Atlanta and Washington. Thinking about Atlanta on the second half and thinking about the second half over as well. Actually, let me quickly check those lines here. Atlanta on the second half will be plus 130. And the second half over on this one would be 3.5 plus 120. I'm thinking about both of those. Thinking about Atlanta on the second half at plus 130. St. Louis, I'm thinking about that one, but I'm also going to hold off on that one until the afternoon show. Just scanning on down the line here, and I guess that's about it. Let me just think for a second here. You know what? I will take Atlanta. I'll lock in that one right now. I'll take Atlanta second half money line plus 130. Against the Nats. Obviously, Scherzer could easily throw a complete game shutout here, and then that bet will be scotch. But I've done well with Atlanta's second half so far this year, and I think considering the odds, this is another nice spot to take them. All right, we can move on. Jimmy the Bag.
Sounds good.
Once again, Jimmy the Bag has taken Tampa Bay run line plus 120, St. Louis run line plus 153, San Diego run line plus 300. That's at Bet 365, not at Pinnacle. Seattle KC under 8 minus 130, and I'm on Philly minus 1, Seattle KC under 8 minus 130, and the Atlanta second half money line at plus 30. All right, let's move on to NBA now. And NBA is interesting. There were 5 games with overnight lines. I handicapped all of those. The ones that didn't have overnight lines, I did not get a chance to look at, and I will get to those this afternoon, and we'll discuss those in the evening show. Some interesting shit here. Brooklyn and Chicago played each other recently, and Brooklyn absolutely blew Chicago out. Now, does that mean that Chicago is going to come in here and just not care for the rest of the season, or are they going to come back here and maybe try to get some measure of revenge, even though it's a meaningless game? What do you think, Jim?
Well, Marketing will be in the lineup. He wasn't in the lineup in that game. He's an enormous difference maker for this young Bulls squad. It was a wild game. I mean, the Nets hit 24 threes, one off an NBA record, 24 for 55. They averaged 35.5 attempts, making 35.6%. They're just a hot and cold team, and when they're hot, it works. Brooklyn's won 4 of 6. I hit the over on my season-long Nets bet.
Very nice.
It was worse odds than I thought. I got over 26.5, but minus 140. So it's not just a $200 bet. It's not going to pay that much. But Brooklyn won 4 of 6, shooting 41.2% from three-point range over that span. The Nets are 10-14 when shooting at least 40% from three-point range, 7-7 when they're shooting 45%. Now, they've not won 3 straight all season long, 0-6 in their attempts to win 3 straight. They've averaged 100.6 points and shot 32.7% in those games. LeVert and Carroll will be out of the lineup. Nets are 14-26. That's on the road. They're at home. Bulls have lost 9 of 12. Bulls are 10-26 in their last 36 games. They've shut down Dunn, Levine, and Valentine, and they haven't made it clear, but it looks to us that they've shut down Zipser, Vonleh, and Lopez. I mean, it makes sense to take the Nets here, but at this line, what are they still hanging?
7.5 or 8. I was thinking about taking Chicago early, maybe first quarter plus 2.5, and you know what? I will take that one. I'll take that one. I'll take Chicago first quarter plus 2.5 minus 105. I'll take that one. Chicago first quarter plus 2.5 minus 105. That is the current line at Pinnacle, and
I like that play. I like that play. I clearly what we just saw isn't going to happen again.
Right.
So I think that's a smart move.
But then again, on the full game, you got to assume that at some point Brooklyn will start to play well, and the Bulls are going to start to not care again. But I do think first quarter it might be more competitive, so I'll take that one first quarter.
Al Mack here says Brooklyn's going to roll. Says Chicago doesn't want to win. Brooklyn doesn't have a protected first round pick, so they aren't tanking. Chicago is take Brooklyn. I'm probably putting 380 on it.
Okay, he's talking about on the full game though.
Yeah,
not necessarily the first quarter. All right, Jim, what else are you liking here?
First off, I like the Nuggets. One of those plays I should have fired out in the morning because the line is going against me. So I'd like to get it as soon as possible. Blazers are coming off their third straight loss. Lillard scored 33 after missing the previous game with a sprained ankle. They lost 160-105 to San Antonio. Ed Davis is back. Mo Harkless will miss at least the rest of the regular season. The Nuggets are coming off their fifth straight win. They're playing very good basketball. They've seemed to figure it out without Gary Harris now. Will Barton stepped up in a big way, put up 31 against the Clippers. They just seem to have figured it out without Gary Harris now. And I just think this is a team rolling that needs victories, and the line is small at home, and I'm on the Nuggets. Okay,
it was 4 when it opened. Now it's at -4.5, -102. Bet365 for some reason is not being listed at SBR odds, so you might want to pull that up and see if there's a better line there. But it's -4. -102 right now at Pinnacle. And I was thinking about a first half under on this one. I know that that Denver a lot of times has real problems defensively, and so does Portland. But I'm thinking this might be a little bit of a competitive game to start, and that maybe the first half under might be worth a shot. What do you think about that, Jim?
Yeah, I think that does make sense. The Blazers have not been electric offensively. Their team is just I've got to take a closer look at what I haven't watched the last 3 games Portland's played, and I feel kind of like I'm missing something here because they're not playing well.
It is interesting that the first half total is way lower than 50% of the full game. The full game is all the way up at 219.5. First half total is only at 106. And I'm leaning first half under and full game under on that one as well. Now let's move on to New Orleans against the Clippers. This is one of these situations. The Clippers just got eliminated from the playoffs. So does that mean that they're going to completely tank in this game and just not care at all? Or will they have some professional pride and say, you know what, we're still a good basketball team. We're not going to let some team come into our house and get an easy win. And are they going to play New Orleans tough? I'm thinking that might be what happens here. And I'm thinking the Clippers might be a good or maybe even a great bet as a home dog. What do you think, Jim?
Wow, I don't know if they're going to play. I mean, Doc says that he respects the league and he's going to that they're going to try. But Lou Williams is day to day, and Lou Williams is the kind of guy, and I remember him well from Toronto and followed him closely throughout his career. He's the kind of guy who won't try. So so I guess if you're asking me, I lean towards them not trying. See, but Bill Butler says Sweet Lou's out.
Right. But Carlos Poroj says Clippers equals vacation. But the other guys who are going to come in are going to try. You know what I'm saying? I'm not convinced that New Orleans is the kind of team, even though they want to win, they need a win, obviously, for the playoffs, that they're a good bet to come in here and get a double-digit win on the road against another NBA team that, who knows what's going to be going on with them.
No, I think it makes sense what you are saying. I just don't know if this is the right team. And
Jansen Bonzone says no, Pete, take Pelicans. Donald Mao says leaning Pelicans. Antoine Seymour says Pelicans need it more. Clippers are done. Remy CV says Pelicans will come hard. They haven't secured a playoff spot. Too many teams with close records. Yes, I understand that. I was also thinking about the under on this game.
Yeah, what is the over under in this game?
The total, it's a high total. Wow, it opened at 228.5. I did bet that one. Now it's down to 224.5, which I would still be leaning under on that one, but that is a big move. I guess that's because Williams was announced out, which would be the cause of that move to the under. I did bet that one on the overnight line at 228.5. Holy crap. I also took the Clippers though at 6.5, and that's now up to 8 or 8.5. A lot of people liking the Pelicans here, Jim.
Yeah, and I get why they do. I get why they do, but I just.
Kobe Valentine says, Mally Mal says, Pels, first quarter, first at over.
I don't know what that means. I'm sure he means I think maybe first quarter over. Maybe
I don't know. First over and first quarter. Justin Searcy says Clippers have been giving up points in bunches. Let me see. G-Man Hag says way off on the Clippers play, Pete. Okay. S.J. Shark Reese says Pelicans. David Stewart, Pelicans. Everyone liking the Pelicans here. Greg Schneider says I feel very uncomfortable with all these late season NBA games, all in caps. Nando Cuevas says Pelicans. No one saying Clippers here. Wow.
Yeah, I was initially going to come in here and take the Pelicans. But I have concern that you are on the other side.
GT Randy says Anthony Davis player prop over whatever points it is. He's going for close to 50 tonight. Interesting. Yes, player props can have the best value in the NBA for sure. That's why the limits on player props are way lower than spreads and totals. And GT Randy says Anthony Davis player prop over for whatever his points total is. We'll check that out. I'll check that out when the player prop totals are out. What else do you want, Jim?
I think
Alex Vishnevsky says Clippers are an over machine. Giovanni Biestorf says Pelicans need to win. Alex Vishnevsky, first one in chat. I'm on Clippers. Alex Vishnevsky says Clippers are an over machine and I'm on Clippers. First one on chat. It's about 15-1. 15 people on Pelicans. One guy named Alex Vishnevsky officially on the Clippers.
Yeah, what's the New Orleans team total?
The New Orleans team total. I will check right now. Let me just find that one. The New Orleans team total. Let me check that one. Let me check the New Orleans team total. Let me just, let's see. Team totals here. New Orleans team total would be 117 plus 113 at Pinnacle. So you could probably find 116 and a half, maybe even 116 at a few other places.
Clippers?
And the Clippers team total, 108. 108. Clippers team total. Yes.
Wonder if the Clippers can get to that. I don't know if they can.
Yes, I don't know. Let's see. King Rail says the Blazers win tonight. They can't afford to lose home court advantage. So King Rail going dead against Jimmy the Bag, who's liking Denver -4.5. And I was thinking about a shot with the under on that one and the first half under. All right, Jim, what other plays do you want to give?
I'm going to take the Clippers team total under.
The Clippers team total under. All right, we can give you the Pinnacle line here, 108 -109. So Jim's going to take the LA Clippers team total under 108 -109. That might be a nice little play there, Jimmy the Bag. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. One of these tricky games, not sure what the pace is going to be, not sure how much the Clippers are going to bring in terms of competition for the Pelicans. We know what the Pelicans are going to want to do. How much are they going to be able to do it? And in situations like those, sometimes the team totals can be the best way to go. Jimmy the Bag, you might have nailed this one. Clippers team total under 108 -109. Not bad, Jimmy the Bag.
Thank you. Melvin Morel comes in, says Clippers team total under. He's on it as well. This game it really helped hearing where you were, where the chat was, and then kind of piecing it together. I feel pretty good with this.
Not bad. I did bet the under on this one. I got 228. I also did take Clippers plus 6.5, and now, of course, up to 8 or 8.5. I'm going to check Heritage, see if there might be a slightly better line there, and I might join you on that one, Jimmy the Bag. All right, what else are you liking here, Jim?
Well, I find it difficult. I want to take the Raptors here tonight, but I'm going to wait just to ensure who is being rested. I expect Lowry to be rested, but I'm going to wait for the afternoon show, and then I will most likely be making a play on them. Both teams are on the second half of back-to-backs. We've seen all season long when both teams, and now it hasn't happened that often, but when both teams in the Raptors game are on the second half of back-to-backs, the Raptors are in a much, much better situation with a much deeper bench. Raptors beat the Magic 112-101 last night without DeRozan, without Valanciunas. CJ Miles scored 22, and Anunoby scored a career-high 21, got 8 boards as well. And then Lowry is likely to be rested. He says he doesn't want to be rested. He doesn't need it. He's only playing 32 minutes a game, down from 37.4 last year, and doesn't need it, which is such a good sign for us moving forward into the playoffs. Raptors 24-15 on the road. Pistons lost to the Grizzlies 130-117 in Memphis last night. They're clearly not trying. Grizzlies set a franchise record 23 three-pointers. They allowed the Grizzlies to shoot 57.8% from the field. They're clearly not trying. Reggie Bullock's done for the season with a knee problem. Blake Griffin missed 5 games. hasn't been ruled out. Reggie Jackson didn't play down the stretch due to an illness. Unclear if he's going to be good to go. Maybe I should just take it here now. I just wonder. I wonder when Lowry is announced out. Mm-hmm. The line will probably. Do you think they're capping this line, thinking that Lowry's out? That's why it's only 4.5.
I don't know, but Antonio Jones says looks like Loshak needs to borrow my sleeping bag because the Clippers are going to have him at the shelter tonight. LOL. No, they won't, Antonio Jones. You know why? Money management. I always use appropriate money management, so no one game can send me to the shelter. In order for me to be at the shelter, I'd have to lose like 15 or 20 in a row. But thanks for the concern, Antonio Jones. Great comment. Welcome to the show. All right, Jim. What else do you want to give here?
I just want to go over this. So right now the line's at 4.5. Mm-hmm. When Larry is announced not to be in the lineup, I don't know if it'll change that much because I think it's already based on him not playing. What do you think?
I don't know. Wait. For which game?
The Raptors Pistons game.
That game did not have an overnight line, so I did not handicap that one. I didn't handicap the 4 games that didn't have overnight lines. Raps, Pistons, Cleveland, New York, Orlando, Milwaukee, Memphis, Minnesota. But I will handicap those in the afternoon, and we'll discuss them. Maybe I have picks on them in the evening show. I only capped the 5 games that did have overnight lines, Jim.
Searcy's on the Pistons. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'd love to hear why Searcy, if you give me some more information, because this just, to me, looks like a team that's not trying and wants Van Gundy fired. Mm-hmm. So, Small Thrill wants to know how the Feminist Art Show was.
Oh, I wound up not going. The Feminists called me up at I was ready to go. And I actually looked pretty understated. I looked understated cool. I looked great. I was wearing a high-waisted, flat front, gray slacks with a hip 80s retro shirt, and I was ready to go and look cool. But then she called me up. She was like, hey, the show ended early, and I already went home. So I didn't go. That's why I didn't come here dressed up today like I went to the Feminist Art Show. You never know. Feminists, a very unpredictable bunch. Very unpredictable. You never know when they're going to go home early or party all night. That's why I love them, Jim.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, Jim. But that's to answer your question, Small Thrill. I did not forget about it, and if I had gone, there would have been pictures, and I would have come here dressed up as the as what I wear. And I did look cool as hell, Jim. I know how to dress cool. All right, Jim. What else are you liking here, Jim?
Well, I guess at this point, I think I can get a little bit better line when Lowry's announced out. A small. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to take the Raptors on the Late Show, and I'm just concerned. I'm just concerned about the line movement. Mm-hmm. So you because you didn't cap it, you don't have a call on what goes on with Lowry. If Lowry is not in the lineup, do you see the line moving?
If Lowry is not in the lineup, do I see the line moving? Yes, probably. Just like a half point or so.
Okay, I guess I'll wait.
Okay. King Rail seems to be really confident that the Blazers are gonna if not win, at least he likes them to win. But he seems like they're going to try hard and that they are not a good bet against here. I was really thinking about the under here. I would definitely have given the first half under if it had been 50% of the full game. And I'm thinking about giving just the first half and full game under anyway, Jim. I know that both these teams can have problems defensively, but I'm thinking that I'm thinking this is going to be a competitive game. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
But it doesn't need the Blazers need to win the next game. Mm-hmm. They don't need to win this game.
Mm-hmm. I hear you, Jim.
So
all right.
Don't you think that's a huge deal? Like the Blazers can let this game go and win their big matchup with Utah. I believe it's Utah, right?
Yeah, right.
So why would they? I don't see why they would. I would just rest players.
All I'm saying is that King Rail knows Portland from when he was a kid. Now the Portland's won a bunch of games in a row. Everyone's a freaking expert on Portland, right? Everyone's a freaking expert on the Blazers. I trust King Rail. He's been an expert on the Blazers for his whole life. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
I know what you're saying.
No offense, but you know what I'm saying, right, Jim?
No, I know what you're saying. So then are you going to take the Blazers?
I don't know. I'm thinking about the under is what I was thinking about, Jim. And I might be thinking about like a team total under here, but I'm just not exactly sure. Another game that I bet on the under is OKC against Miami, right? And OKC also, in a log jam for like for the last 4 spots in the playoffs, right? They still haven't locked in their playoff spot at all, even though I think they're like in 5th place right now. They still haven't clinched it. So OKC definitely wants to play here. Miami got blasted in their last game. They're going to want to, at the very least, play better defense here and not give up 120 again. I'm thinking about under in OKC Miami. What do you think about that, Jim?
I think someone was asking about the Bet365 team total in the Clippers game, and that's what Bet365 doesn't do, right? They don't give you the NBA team totals.
Smart.
Because you can beat them.
Yes.
So there's no. So when I
Yeah, so just a shout out to the to whoever's in charge of Bet365. Great move for not hanging NBA team totals, and fucking stupid as hell for hanging those alternative run lines that are way off from Pinnacle. Reduce your fucking run lines here. Jim's gonna keep beating them for 30 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just making fun of how if you do things public. No, I'm just kidding around. I'm just kidding
you need
around.
to keep this as quiet as possible.
Okay, yeah,
You
sorry
need to
about
be
that.
as hush-hush as fucking possible, because of course all these lines are going to change drastically.
Yes.
The reason why Bet365 doesn't change is because all the European cash coming in, they're not following us.
Yes, that's right. Okay. From now on, whenever we refer to the alternative puck line at Coors, the response will always be, "What alternative puck line at Coors?" They even what? I don't even know what you're talking about. All right. Duly noted, Jim. All right, good.
Yeah,
All right.
I think it's an interesting play. I mean, Thunder looked very, very good against the Rockets on Saturday night. I watched that game. It was going on as well as beside the UFC fight, and I was paying more attention to that. Russell Westbrook and Paul George scored 24 points each, stopped Houston's 20-game win streak. Just 2 games left. They could land anywhere from 4th to 9th. So they really need to come in strong. Heat are coming off that just horrifying loss, 122-98 to the Knicks on Friday night. Heat are just 14-15 over their last month. They could land anywhere between 5th and 8th. What is the total that you'd be going for with the under?
Well, actually, it just moved. It was 213.5 or 214 when it opened, and now it's up to oh no, someone said it moved up to 2. No, it's now down to 212.5.
Oh wow.
Someone said they liked the over at 215.5, but now it's down to a 212.5. Yeah, who said they liked over 215.5? Let me find that one. G-Man Hags says OKC game over 215.5. So G-Man Hags with an opinion that he's liking the over on that game and got a shitty number. Wow. It's 212.5 right now. You can even get 212s. Interesting shit. Kobe Valentine says, Pete looks like a Backstreet Boy today. Thank you very much, Kobe Valentine. Yes, I do. All right, I don't know what the hell that means, but let me see. Thomas Coragem says, got to be on OKC. Although I hate them, I think the Heat don't mind losing. They certainly didn't in their last game. And to get Boston in the first round instead of Philly. I mean, there is some, that people talk about that sometimes when you want to actually get a worse seed to play a team that you would prefer to be playing, who's going to have a higher seed at the end of the year. And I agree with whoever, thinks that Boston's going to be a bad bet in the playoffs. I think that might be the case. You know what I'm saying?
I do too. I really think so. I think that the Heat don't want to win this game.
B-Boy Im says, love this fucking show. Always informative. Thank you so much, B-Boy Im. Let's see. What else do we have? Comments coming in. G-Man Hag says, remember, Pete, I suck at NBA. Yes, G-Man Hags, and you certainly got a fucking shitty number on that over in the OKC game. I was leaning under. I bet it at, I think, 213.5. Might have been 214.5. Now it's down to 212.5 or 2. No, just kidding around, G-Man. I mean, you did get a shitty number, but we love you. I just like to make those kinds of jokes. Let's see. Other comments coming in. Let me just find it. Tom Reno says Denver will play harder. This is their season. Donald Mao says, I agree that Portland misses Harkless's offensive help. Dan Kelly, I just did a bit of probably meaningless research. Looking at the past 2 seasons, last Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the season, I'm going to take Bulls money line, Clippers money line, and a parlay on that. Dan Kelly, with a spreadsheet, just did a little bit of probably meaningless, but not guaranteed meaningless research. He's going to parlay 2 huge money lines, Bulls money line and Clippers money line.
That's I am not against him on either of those plays, so I'm not concerned. But when Dan says something like that, he knows what he's doing.
Yes, Tom Marino says Denver is much better defensively with Millsaps healthy. That is absolutely true. Bill Butler says jump on Nuggets before Harris is ruled in. Just upgraded to a GTD. Let me see. What else do we have here? G-Man Hags likes the OKC over. Hans Omycock says OKC needs this one. Let me see. Elio Rodriguez says someone put speed in Pete's coffee. No, they didn't, Elio Rodriguez. This is just natural, baby. No one put speed in nothing. No, didn't know any put speed in shit. Elio Rodriguez. Let's see. What else do we have here? Justin Sushi says the under is the play here. I'm not sure what game he's referring to. I think he might be referring to the Portland game, though.
I think I think you guys are right, man. I think the OKC is the play. I see it as the play. Now, I mean, of course, these guys aren't going to actively fuck the game up, but they know that it would be better for them to lose this contest.
All right, Jim, let's make some decisions here.
Okay, I'm on the Thunder full game.
You want the OKC Thunder, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. No, Antonio Hag says, "See you at the shelter, bro." LOL. So that makes Antonio Hag's predicting Antonio Jones predicting a 15-game losing streak for me, which will necessitate a visit to the shelter for me. But I don't think that's gonna happen, and we'll see, Antonio. All right, so let's see. What do you want here, Jim?
I want the Thunder full game.
OKC Thunder full game. Let me find it right now. Best line gotten bet up. It opened at 1.5. Now it's up to 3.5. Unless the bet 365 feed here at SBR Odds is down. Come on.
But they never give good lines in the
Do
NBA.
they? No. Smart as hell. OKC minus 3.5, minus 105. That's the current line at Pinnacle. OKC minus 3.5, minus 105. And I was thinking about the under in this one, and maybe the first half under as well. All right, I'm gonna hold off on making an official play on this one. If this one jumps up to 214.5 or 215 by the 6 o'clock show, I'm not going to be liking the under anymore, and I might pull back my play. But as of right now, I did bet the under 213.5. I'd be leaning under here at 212.5. If it's still 212.5 in the afternoon show, I'll probably throw that one on as an official play. And then the Portland-Denver game, I think I'm gonna throw on unders here, Jim.
Yeah, I can see it.
I'm throwing them on. I'm telling you, the first half under in Portland, Denver, and the full game. Well, let me think about this actually.
Maybe I can give you a play that I'm going to jump on.
Okay,
right
okay,
now.
hit it up.
I'm going to take the Sacramento Kings tonight.
Okay.
I don't see why the Spurs are going to win by 20 points. You know, Kings are rested. They've lost 13 straight times to the Spurs, 10 straight at AT&T Center. Zach Randolph's done for the year and not expected to return. Labissiere is dealing with an ankle injury, questionable. But the Spurs have no reason to destroy this team. Mm-hmm. No reason to. You know, they need to win one of their final 2 games to make the playoffs. I'm sure this is the one that they're going to lock down. But 14.5 points, I just feel like that's a little too many.
Gotten bet up. It was 13.5 when I was handicapping it.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be concerned that the line has changed, and I'm going to take the Kings at plus 14.
Okay, plus 14.5, minus 110. That is the line across the board, market wide. All right, Jim. The other games I did not look into that didn't have overnight lines. Any other picks you want to hit us up with?
No, I don't have a play on the Magic Bucks or Grizzlies at Timberwolves. The Grizzlies are just a hard team to figure out this late in the season. Obviously, we cash huge on the Wolves in the LA. They're just a different team with Butler in the lineup. What is the line that we get right now there from Minnesota? 15.5. That's just
16.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That just makes me think that the Grizz is the spot. Scotty Rock is going against me. He just got the Spurs at minus 13.5. You know, I just feel like it's too many points. I think the Grizzlies should cover this as well. But God, Butler just changed everything immediately. The problem with the Grizz is you don't know exactly who's going to be in the lineup. But Marshawn Brooks, the two Brooks, Dylan and Marshawn are playing absolutely wonderful. And the Wolves just look like a different team with Butler in the lineup. He demands defensive accountability.
Yeah.
Wolves went 8-9 without him.
All right, so in the NBA, the official picks that have been given out so far, Jim gave OKC minus 3.5, Denver minus 4.5. King Rail disagrees with that one. And the Clippers team total under 108. Just 3 plays from Jim, and I have given just 2 plays so far. Chicago Bulls first quarter plus 2.5, and the Clippers team total under 108. I agree with Jim on that one. Plays that I'm thinking about that I might give in the 6 o'clock show, the under in OKC Miami, the under in Portland Denver, and maybe the first half under in Portland, Denver as well. Still thinking about the full game under in New Orleans Clippers, and that's about it. And once again, Dan Kelly, guy with a fucking spreadsheet, right? He's not pulling these out of his ass. He's pulling these out of an actual spreadsheet. Is going with Chicago on the money line, which would be plus 300. Also going on the money line with the Clippers, which is getting bet up right now at Pinnacle. That is plus 334, and he likes it enough to make a little parlay. 2 big dog money lines that Dan Kelly is parlaying. But in the 6 o'clock show, I might wind up throwing on Chicago plus 8, and I might wind up throwing on the Clippers plus the points as well.
I can understand those additions, but I'm going to take the Raptors. I have a feeling that Reggie Jackson will not play after being sick and not being able to play the second half. And if he doesn't play, then the line, it'll be instead of having it a minus 3.5 or minus 4, I'll get a minus 6.
Well, right now you're gonna have to take 4.5, which is the best line at Pinnacle, unless Bet365 has a better line.
No,
there.
They have minus 4.5 as well.
Okay, so minus 4.5, minus 105. That's at Bookmaker and Pinnacle, and Jim is throwing that one on as well, right, Jim?
Yep.
All right, that's it for the NBA. Those are our official picks. Those are our leans. Now let's move on to the NHL. We do have some odds from Pinnacle here on to win each conference, to win the East and to win the West, and to win the Stanley Cup. And we do have at Heritage right now, at least. the series odds for the first round of the playoffs. Pinnacle does not yet have series odds that I'm seeing. Right now, the favorite to win the East is Tampa Bay at plus 275. Second choice, Boston, 3-1. Third choice, Washington Capitals, 6-1. Tied third choice, Penguins, 6-1. Then in the fifth choice, Maple Leafs, 7-1. What do you think about all that, Jim? Columbus Jackets, 12-1.
Wow.
Then in the West, the big favorite is Nashville, plus 175. Second choice, Winnipeg, 4-1. Third choice, Vegas, 9-2, Jim, plus 450 to win the West. Fourth choice is San Jose at plus 1100. Fifth choice, Anaheim, 12-1. What do you think about
They have
that?
12-1. Bet365 has them at 9-1.
Right.
Wow, line shopping's crucial in this.
Yes. One of the areas where line shopping can be most crucial is obviously when you're betting futures odds, and especially when you're betting playoff futures odds. I do like to bet playoff futures odds sometimes because, you're not tying your money up for the whole season, just for the playoffs. But line shopping is absolutely essential, and Sportsbook Review does usually have odds comparisons for futures odds for big events. But yes, Pinnacle, Anaheim, 12-1. Minnesota, 13-1 to win the West. LA, 14-1. And Colorado, 16-1. Interesting shit here, Jim. Any open-ended question? Jim, thoughts on the NHL playoffs?
Well, first off, so I haven't checked out. So what's the line in Vegas Los Angeles Kings?
For the series, you mean?
Yeah.
I'll check right now. Pinnacle does not have it, but Heritage does, so we have some series odds. Vegas and the LA Kings right now at Heritage. We have let's see, the Vegas is favored minus 135, LA Kings plus 115.
Wow, that's so close. That's wild. Personally, I think the Ducks are going to be playing the Predators in the Western Conference final. I understand everyone liking the Jets. They're an exciting team, and the city's going to go bananas. But I think the Nashville Predators and the Jets are the best teams in the West. And I think the Ducks are going to stand up and make a run themselves. I just think the big teams that physically hurt you every second day are the teams that are going to win these series. G-Man Hag says, which team will be the surprise this year? There's always a surprise.
I mean, I think my sense is this, and tell me if you agree with this. The rule of thumb for the NHL playoffs is teams that had usually, great regular season records predicated on speed and skill and high scoring are generally overvalued in the playoffs, and teams in the regular season that are tough defensively, that are more, brutal and physical, are teams that tend to do better in the playoffs relative to their expectations. Is that not something you agree with?
That is perfectly put.
Right.
That is well put. Yes.
All right. So who are those teams this year, Jim?
Well, the team that jumps. I mean, who is the surprise in the playoffs? I think the Ducks are this team. I think the Ducks are the longest odds to reach there. They're the most value. Now they have to play the Sharks in the first round.
Minus 125 to get by the Sharks.
Yeah, they're favored to beat the Sharks team. They're just going to be very, very tough to beat. And I like the Ducks to take out the Sharks in the first round. I know other people who think the Sharks team can run, but they just can't. This is a very, very tough Western Conference, and I don't think the Vegas Knights are going to be tough here.
Kevy K says, don't bet the Ducks without knowing Gibson is 100%. Would you agree with that, Jim?
Well, Gibson is going to be close to 100%, but will probably get hurt during the playoffs, and that's why you have Ryan Miller back there, who would absolutely love the opportunity. He's the best backup goaltender in the NHL, but yeah, I mean that's the big risk in taking the Ducks. There's no question about it. There's that Gibson will probably be good to go game one, but will he not hurt himself again? He's been hurting himself all season.
New commenter, Alex Wisniewski. Have you seen that name before?
Yeah, we have Alex.
Oh, we
have?
Yeah. Okay, he seems like really a guy who fucking knows what he's talking about. So you've seen him before?
Yeah.
Because I was just going to beg him to stay forever, but if you've seen him before, then it seems like he's solid. Thank you so much, Alex Wisniewski. He says, love the Ducks because San Jose has owned them all year.
Yeah, those the kind of. I mean, I'd have to. I haven't capped this in total, so I'd have to go over those.
No,
numbers.
that's okay. We're just thinking out loud here, Jim.
Urvalina says Miller can outplay Gibson at any time. The worst thing is having Cam Fowler out for 2 to 6 weeks. Fowler will be good to go, I'm sure, for Game 3 at home in Anaheim. I'm not sure, but likely, I feel. In the East, it's just too bad. It's just too bad that the Leafs have to play the Bruins in the first round, the big bad Bruins, because the Leafs are a special group. And the Leafs could take them out.
Plus 140.
Oh, I would not bet them to do it. The Bruins just look like the best team in the NHL lately, dealing with all these. I mean, they haven't over the last 2 or 3 weeks, but over the second half of the season, they look like the best team in the NHL. I think you're getting a ton of value with the Penguins. Ton of value.
Penguins minus 225 to beat the Flyers. Flyers on the other side plus 190. And Winnipeg minus 190 to beat the Wild. Alex Wisniewski also likes the Jets. He's big value with the Jets, so maybe he likes the Jets at minus 190 to win the series over Minnesota. What do you think, Jim?
Sorry, what would the Jets were minus 190?
Minus 190.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to beat Minnesota. There's just the Jets. The Jets are a very good hockey team. And they've got some injury problems that we need to clarify if you're putting your money on the Jets. I'm going to have to probably put a small hedge on the Jets just to have it covered. I won't bother with taking them to win the West, but I'll just take them to win the Cup, I guess, as a small hedge. New NHL playoffs. What Andrew McKinnon says new NHL playoffs, absolute bullshit. What does he mean by that?
I don't know. G-Man Hags predicts Bruins in 5. G-Man Hags produced Bruins in 5. Alex Wisniewski, Nashville to sweep the Avs. Nashville is actually a minus 400 in the series, but they'll probably be an underdog line there to get a sweep. Those specific results will come out, and when they come out, we will discuss them, Jim.
Yeah, Andrew McKinnis with a great call there, saying Penguins-Flyers series will be a massive over series. God, those in-state rivalries are just mayhem. It's going to be wild. But looking at this, I see that the Ducks for sure have the most value in the West, and the Penguins for sure have the most value in the East. I'm shocked that Lightning are a plus 275 favorite with the way they look down the stretch. And it's because they weren't way ahead. If they were way ahead and didn't need to bother trying, they were in tight quarters and couldn't produce wins when they had to until the very end of the season. Stamkos dealing with an injury. I see no value with the Lightning. I see the Ducks and the Pens clearly holding the most amount of value. I mean, like if you just on Bet365 you parlay those teams to win each conference, you're getting plus 7,150.
Wow. Here you go. Kevy K says New Jersey Devils beats the Bolts. I assume he's doing in the series, talking about in the series. Right now, New Jersey at Heritage. And again, if you shop around, you can probably get better than this. New Jersey plus 250 over the Lightning.
Just 250.
The Lightning is minus 310. But what would you expect, Jim?
I would thought it was going to be in the plus 300 range.
No, minus 310 for Tampa Bay. Those are the current odds at Heritage. If you shop around, you can probably get better, but plus 250 at Heritage for New Jersey. GT Randy says Vegas made their noise in the regular season. Playoffs is a different beast. LA in 6.
Yeah, I don't know about in 6 at this point, and I don't even see a point really to take the Kings on the series at plus 115. I don't see there's probably not even enough value to make that bet. But yeah, the Golden Knights are in trouble against this big, tough, strong, slow LA Kings team. I mean, the Golden Knights have all the speed. I wouldn't take the Kings at plus 115. I don't think there's enough value there. I would need a bigger dog line than that.
He was talking about the format where he's saying the Almac says the format is stupid. It should be fully standings. Yeah, Leafs shouldn't have to play the Bruins. 200 points between the two of them. Dumb. Yeah, I mean,
I agree. And NBA fixed that. And, NHL should do it too. Kevin K says, have you seen the Bolts? Lost to the Yotes, lost to Canes, almost lost to Sabres. Vasilevsky's looked off. This is the best value. New Jersey to win round 1. Book it. You know, I think, to be honest with you, if you want better value, to win the series, they're going to have to win some games on the road. I would just take them every game. I think that you would end up getting more cash out of that than the plus 250, because you're going to get huge. I'm very curious to see what the opening game lines are. But I mean, I tell you what, these the home dogs in games 3 and 4 will be almost must plays. Even at plus 110, they'll be almost must plays. I'll be making those for sure.
Kobe Valentine says New Jersey is a live dog. And Kevy K says, have you seen the Bolts? Lost to Yotes, lost to Canes, almost lost to Sabres. Vasilevsky has looked off. This is the best value Devils to win first round. Book it. So even if the Devils don't actually wind up winning the series, maybe they'll have some great value in individual game lines, Jim. Team total overs, stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right. I think there'll be goals in that Devils Lightning series as well. I think Andrew McKinnis is putting us on the right track with the overs on the Flyers Pens. I think that's a pretty good way of looking at it. I think there's tons of value looking at these futures. Tons of value on Pittsburgh Penguins. A ton. 625 to win the East. That's it. You're telling me that they're the 5th highest ranked team in the Eastern Conference? That's the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
That's absolute.
No, in the East, I have them as tied for fourth.
Okay, I've got them plus 625 here.
No, tied for third.
Oh, really? Wow.
Well, here at Pinnacle, in the East, Tampa Bay and Boston are the two clear favorites. Then I have the Caps and the Penguins at plus 600 and the Leafs at plus 700.
Oh, wow. That's wild because here I got the Leafs at plus 500.
Right. Yes.
Wow.
And we're only comparing right now Pinnacle to Bet365. If you compare other books, Heritage and Bet Online and Bookmaker and all those other books, you will find even bigger discrepancies with futures odds for sure. So definitely do line shopping if you're planning on betting futures odds in the NHL playoffs. So go to SBRodds.com to find individual line shopping for individual games. All right, Jimmy the Bag.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not going to take the Devils on the series.
Okay.
But I do think that there might be value in. I'm going to have to study it, but in taking them on the road in Tampa, pressure free. All they'd have to do is win one to get to be in a profitable situation. So looking at this, I've already made my futures bets for the year, and I'm in a good spot. The only thing I'm concerned about is the Jets. They're the only team that concerns me. To get out of the Atlantic Division is going to be very, very difficult. And to get out of the Met will be tough too. And it will take their toll. We'll have to see how injuries handle things. But I'm the only thing I'll add on is I'll make a small bet on the Jets to win the Cup. Just a small bet, just to cover myself there. But I still see a Predators Penguins Stanley Cup final.
Predators Penguins. There you go. Not applicable. Says I said months ago. Pens against Nashville Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, that's what
interesting.
I agreed. I've been saying it all year. I just think they're the two teams that you can count on. Now in saying that, if the Bruins get through Toronto, and then get through Tampa. I'm going to be very concerned about them beating Pittsburgh. Extremely concerned, and I will hedge. I will hedge for sure.
Okay, all right. Let me see. And Kobe Valentine, not a believer in New Jersey. He says taking Tampa Bay in 6. All right. Well, we will discuss the NHL playoffs a lot more in depth. And Jimmy the Bag, our overall season records have been great at NHL. So we have 1 or 2 units here and there to burn. If you want to give any bets on the futures odds for your official record, we can actually absolutely do that. And when Pinnacle releases, and other places will release the specific series results, like one team to win in 6, one team to get a sweep or whatever, those can sometimes have a great value. You can throw those on if you want as well, Jim.
Sure.
And those will count towards our official record here.
Sure.
And the Loshak in the Bag show.
I'll take a good look. I'll take a good look at these. I certainly see value with the Pens and with the Ducks. Certainly do so.
All right. Sounds good. We'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time where we'll go over all these games more in depth and review the line moves, and maybe I'll convert some of my leans to official picks. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone.